Hello there YouTube, it's me Tifo Wilderness. Welcome to my channel and welcome to this month's end of month bot haul, where I show you all the Transformer related items that I've picked up throughout the month. Now, I'm filming this on Sunday the 27th of April. The main reason being is that lately I've noticed that when I go to, after I've filmed the video, edited it, processed it, and then I'm uploading it onto YouTube, especially my end of month bot haul videos, because they tend to be quite long, quite lengthy, and heavy on terms of file size. They're taking an inordinate amount of time to upload onto YouTube. It just takes a very long time. And this month, the last day of the month falls on a weekday. It falls on a Wednesday. So I'd rather not have to do my end of month bot haul after work on a weekday. I'd rather do it, on a day when I've got the day free and I've got a lot more time to do it. So I've decided to do it on the Sunday a couple of days early. I mean, all my stuff's in. I'm not expecting any more parcels, so I might as well just sit down and do it now. So this month I've got a reasonable haul, quite a few items to show you. Went to the NEC Toy Fair and bought a couple of things. Got 3 Korean toys, and there's a very specific reason why that happened. Yeah, I've been picking a few bits and pieces up. So let's get started on this thing as we usually do. Now, obviously, I do these, or I'll show you these items in order of arrival, into chronological order. And I've got technically 13 items to get through, representing 12 purchases that I've made throughout the month. So, without that said, let's make a start, shall we? So, right, so the first items to arrive, which was on the 2nd, was a couple of items. I decided to make an order on the Hasbro Pulse because obviously you've got the Age of the Prime Wave 1 figures starting to filter through to retail now, and I decided to make a play. I've not bought any up until this point, and I certainly wasn't going to pre-order anything. Because I prefer to buy my stuff when it's in stock, but certain characters, certain figures seem to be selling out or had already sold out. But when I looked on Hasbro Pulse at the end of last month, I noticed that Hasbro Pulse had restocked on a few items, and I weighed up my options where I could buy certain characters from, and I wanted to buy them from different retailers so that when the orders came in, they would form the basis of my unboxing video series this month. So that was the way I played it. So anyway, on the 1st, I made a bunch of orders, and made an order for a couple of figures off Hasbro Pulse, and the following day they arrived on the 2nd, which was a Wednesday. Now I've done an unboxing video on them, and here they are. So firstly, got Solus Prime, or one of the 13 primes, the first Fembot, the first female Transformer. Now obviously a lot of people have been complaining about QC issues on this thing, most notably bits popping off when you're transforming it. I've had a few minor issues with mine, but overall I'm not that bothered by this figure, to be honest. I think it's alright. Obviously she's got this flappy thing down the front, which sort of gets in the way of the leg articulation a little bit, but apart from that, it's not really that bad. She's got the hammer. She's got the forge of Solus Prime, and yeah, she's not bad. Interesting little figure, but like I said, the first Power of the Primes figure that I've actually not Power of the Primes, Age of the Primes. Let's get it right. That I've actually bought, and yeah, she's not too bad. Like I said, some people have been having issues with it, but I'm not that bothered with it. I've not had too many problems with mine. So there we go. So there's the first character, or the first figure that I bought this month. Age of the Primes 13 Deluxe Solus. And then the other figure that I ordered off Hasbro Pulse that they happened to have in stock, and I think I got the last one they had available. Yeah, because that was it. I remember when I first went in, I went onto my Hasbro Pulse account, and I looked at what stock they had, but I wasn't signed in, I wasn't logged in. So I looked on their site, and I saw that they had these two figures. So I added them to my basket, and then I realised, oh shit, I'm not signed in. So then I sort of came out, signed in, went back in, and then for some reason it sent me to, it must have logged me into the US site, because it then said everything was on pre-order and all the prices were in US dollars, and I thought, what the hell's going on here? So I thought something odd was going on here. So then I came back out again, went back in, started from scratch, went back in, and luckily enough, the items that I pre-ordered previously were still in my basket, even though I was now logged into my account, because obviously it was working off my ISP. And yeah, so I placed my order, and like I said, the items arrived on the 2nd. And the other figure I went for is the big bad. Yeah. The Fallen Megatronus. And yeah, decided to go for this guy. Now this guy has been, people have been raving about this figure, saying how good it is. And I can see why. I've literally only just opened it earlier today, because he's been in his box right until this morning, when I decided to get out the last couple of figures that I hadn't messed with. And yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by this guy. He's very heavy, very chunky, not massively tall. I mean, do a quick size comparison with a proper leader class scale bot. So he comes up a little short on the old leader class scale, but he's still still bigger than most Transformer figures you can get in the Generation series these days. Very heavy. There's a lot of plastic in this guy, and he's made out as a good quality plastic as well. Comes with a bunch of accessories, including these flame effects. You've got his axe, you've got his sword, and then you've got obviously his gun, and then you got the gun barrel extension for his tank mode. When I got the stuff out of the package, the paper wrap around the accessories was already partially ripped, and when I opened it, I thought I'd got all the items out of the package, and when I was fitting them to the figure, I thought, hang on a minute, where's the gun barrel extension for the tank barrel? And I looked, oh no, don't tell me I've got an item missing from my figure. And then I looked on the floor, and there it was on the floor. It obviously fell on the floor and I hadn't noticed. So I have got all the accessories, fortunately. I thought I had one missing, but it wasn't the case. Very big figure. When you go around, he's fairly clean. He's not got much in the way of hollowness on him. Nice tight joints. Transformation is involved, quite a lot of flips and turns, especially with the torso and the arms, to form the front of the tank, the front glacis plate, and then the turret, because the turret's formed up out of his arms. Where the gun barrel plugs into the arms to form the turret, it only plugs in with 2 pegs at the back, and the front of the barrel is free to sort of move up and down, but it doesn't actually attached to the arms at the arms at the front, and it's a little bit unusual the way they did that. So the tank barrel's not that solid when it's in tank mode, but apart from that, I haven't got any real complaints about this guy. He's really posable, and it's I have got another version of Megatronus. He's just up here actually. I've got the RID one from years and years ago, so I've got that version of Megatronus, but I've got no other versions of the Fallen in my collection. So this represents the original Fallen, big bad guy. He certainly looks very evil and imposing with all these sort of flame effects and that sort of grill face that he's got, and all blacks and purples, and I'm getting very much sort of Tarn from DJD vibes from this guy when I was messing around with him. Yeah, so he's a really, really good figure, and very, like I said, he's got a good weight to him. There's a lot of plastic in this guy. He's very, very, very chunky, and very, very cool, very awesome figure. And he was the second purchase that I got, and he arrived on the 2nd along with Solus from Hasbro Pulse. Right, so following on to the next day, the 3rd, and then a little something that I ordered off eBay the back end of last month. Now it's a spare part to a Transformers figure that I've got. Now there are some Transformers in my collection which I've bought, most notably ones I've picked up at car boot sales, or maybe one I've picked up loose at a convention or whatever, and they've been incomplete and they've been missing one or two small parts. Sometimes it isn't a problem. Usually it's an accessory, a gun or accessory, and that doesn't matter. I mean, a prime example was at a NEC Toy Fair. Was it last year or was it the year before? I got a Combiner Wars Prowl, but he was missing his chest piece, and it wasn't until I got home and transformed him that I realised the chest piece was missing. And at TF Nation last year, I managed to find the piece that I was looking for and pop it on and make him more complete. But he was missing his hand, foot thing and the gun. But I have got another figure in my collection that I picked up at a car boot sale many moons ago. In fact, when I first started collecting back in 2014, 2015, I did a lot of car booting, and I picked up a few figures from car boot sales, but sometimes they were missing parts. And one of the guys I picked up was this guy, Cybertron Evac. Now, as you can see, this is his helicopter mode, and you can see he's missing his rotor blades and his Cyber Planet Key missile pack from the back. He forms a really good robot, and when I bought him, he was in robot mode, but when I transformed him to helicopter mode, I thought he's missing some of his crucial parts. So I've been on the lookout for spare parts to fix this guy, and more recently I got that universe repaint of Cybertron Evac as Springer in a 2-pack with Ratbat done up in the Cybertron sideways mold. And when I opened the box, again, he was missing the rotor blades. He had the missile pack, he had the Cyber Planet Key back, but he was missing the rotor blades. And my heart sank when I saw that, because I knew how difficult it would be to get hold of rotor blades for a Cybertron Evac. So I had this search going on eBay, and then back in the last month, I keep getting pings, Cybertron Evac new items, and it goes up, and it's usually people selling either mint ones or complete ones for a variety of different prices. Sometimes you'll see the missiles, but you very rarely see any other spare parts for them. But anyway, this ping went off back in the last month, and I looked on it, and there they were, the rotor blades. And I thought, you beauty, and it was on a buy it now for about £12 plus postage, UK seller. I thought, near enough, boosh, buy it now. Did it, pull the trigger on it, and on the 3rd the item arrived. So here they are, Cybertron Evac's rotor blades. Now they do sort of fold up, and they do that. They do come unclipped. Sometimes you do see odd rotor blades for sale on eBay where people have got one of the odd ones, but this was the complete set with the hub, and I couldn't believe it. And I've been after this thing for so many years, and I can now plug it onto my Cybertron Evac, and now he makes a helicopter, and of course it's got the gimmick so you can spin the rotor blades around. He's just missing the Cyber Planet Key pack, and I almost got one. Was it last year at the TFUK convention? There was some guy who had a store, and he had a box at the bottom of his thing with some bits in it. I saw the Cyber Planet Key, Evac set, and I pulled it up and I asked the guy about it. And when the guy saw it, he says, actually that belongs to a figure in my collection, so he claimed it back. And it's like, I almost had it, I almost bought it. So I am still looking for that part. I am still looking for the Cyber Planet Key, sort of missile pack that goes on the back of this guy. But now he's got rotor blades, he can at least, he can do the helicopter, he can actually fly like a helicopter. So I'm way happy. Now I could transfer these onto that Universe Springer because he's got the Cyber Planet Key pack, and that would make him fully complete. But they're the wrong colour rotor blades. He's supposed to have grey rotor blades instead of blue ones. But anyway, yeah, I was absolutely cock-a-hoop to be able to get rotor blades for this guy that I've been after him for so many years, and I was absolutely made up with that. And they arrived on the 3rd, so that was great. Then also on the 3rd, Another figure from the Age of the Primes toy line that I placed an order for with Comics and Cocktails. Now this guy I think was out of stock at Hasbro Pulse when I placed my order, but or did I decide to buy him from somewhere else because I wanted to spread the orders out? Because I think I can remember seeing it on Amazon, and it was slightly cheaper on Comics and Cocktails because they do free postage. Anyway, so another figure I went and bought is this guy. So Age of the Primes Deluxe Fugitive Wasptinator is what they officially call him. Now, it's that Bumblebee recolor, well, recolor of, you know, sort of Transformers animated Bumblebee as Wasp. Because in the show he was called Wasp, wasn't he? He was called Shot Wasp, and he was kind of like a green evil version of Bumblebee. And then later on in the series he got taken in by Black Arachnia, and then she converted him into his insect form, and then he became Wasptinator. So calling this guy Wasptinator doesn't really fit with me. I think it's actually Wasp, but whatever, you know. We know who he actually becomes Wasptinator. But anyway, I've not handled this mould up to now because I never got the Bumblebee version. So when they saw that I was doing the repaint of this as a different character, I decided to get it. And it's one of the figures that I got out of the box earlier today to have a mess with to see what it was like. And yeah, he's all right. He's okay. He does have some sort of tolerance issues on some of his limbs, like I don't know. It's there are a few tolerance issues on him. Imposability. I think it's on the arms. You've got this bit on the corner here, which means you can't swing the arm forwards to fill up this gap here, unless you, yeah, it doesn't really work that well. Another thing I've noticed on this is because you've got the weapons made out of transparent plastic, you've got the stinger bits. Now they've got hang on, let's see if I can show it to you. They've got very small nubs on the back, you know, 3mm nubs for, you know, pegging onto things, and they're made out of transparent plastic. And I'm a bit concerned that in the future they're gonna break off if you know mess with them too much. So yeah, he's got some longevity issues with this guy. He's also got his windscreen piece has got you know, pinned rings on the top, and it's made out of transparent plastic. So yeah, there's quite a bit of transparent plastic on this guy. He looks better in these colours, way better in these colours, much cooler looking colours in the two-tone green with the black and the purple. Really cool. It's got a nicely painted head sculpt that you know, looks like Wasptinator's head sculpt. So that's really cool. He's a decent little figure. He's small because he's a mini Autobot, and even though he's a deluxe, he's like, you know, that size of a core class really. So yeah, there we go. Got him from where to get Comics and Cocktails. They had him in stock, so I managed to get him for a decent price, and free shipping and all that, the usual stuff with Comics and Cocktails. Age of the Primes Deluxe Fugitive Wasptinator. Right, so then moving along, I had my Korean packages arrived that I ordered this month, because I placed my 2 orders with Korean packages, and I was a little bit reluctant to go in on you know, packages from G-Market and get them shipped from South Korea after what happened last month, because obviously one of my packages went AWOL last month. It went missing, and I was a little bit concerned about that. In fact, I was very upset, and I got messed around by the powers that be, you know, like FedEx, PayPal and G-Market. They all screwed me around in one way or another, and it was a massive great palaver. And yeah, so this month when I placed my orders for my Korean figures, I was a little bit reluctant to do it, but there were some more figures from the Metal Carbot S toy line that I wanted to place an order on, and I placed the orders, and there was no problems getting them shipped this month. They came in pretty quick. So on the 8th they arrived, starting with this guy, Metal Carbot S Deep Bite. So yeah, so there he is. He turns into like a shark themed submarine. He's got this massive great trident weapon. In the review, I failed to mention some things because the day before, you know, Gavin of Transformer Reviews Done Quickly, or TRDQ, did a 4-minute sort of review on this guy, and he happened to mention a couple of things that I missed in my review the following day. Most notably, the fact that these things go up and down at the back. It's got the posable thrusters on the back. Also, he mentioned that I forgot to mention that the Triton end, or the Trident end, it will plug into his gun. So you've got his gun, but you can plug the Trident end into his gun, and it becomes like a harpoon gun. So that's pretty interesting. I did have some gripes about this figure, most notably in submarine mode. You can't open his jaw, his shark jaw. It's fixed, and also I was also making light of the fact that this weapon, his card weapon, the like the trident thing, doesn't actually plug into his hand because the peg is slightly too big to plug in his hand. It plugs into one of these pouches on his waist, which is somewhat unusual, and I think that was a missed opportunity to give him some more posable options. And I said something about that, but somebody in the comments section of that video disagreed with me, but whatever. He's not a bad figure. He's got a good looking robot mode, slightly hampered in articulation, like he hasn't got a waist joint. Some of his joints, the movements are a little bit hampered by them, but other than that, he's not bad. I mean, these Metal Carbot S figures they've been bringing out, they're a step above what they did with the original Metal Carbot line last year, and then they're a lot bigger, a lot more posable, a lot better, than those original toys. So decided to get him. Like I said, I'm doing the whole line this year like I did last year. I'm buying all the figures from the Metal Carbot toy line, and this is just another character that I had to get to complete the set. So he arrived on the 8th, and that was cool. Then also on the same day, because my Korean packages arrived on the same day, I got this character. I just done a review on it a few days ago. Metal Carbot S Sky Gallop. Now, again, this is one of those characters that, in my opinion, has got a little bit of ambiguity about the gender, because when you listen to the character talking in the show, it sounds like a female talking. It's probably voiced by a female voice actor, again, like with CeeLo. But as with CeeLo, the showrunners or the show producers will probably say it's not a female, because all Metal Carbot S, or all Metal Carbot characters, they all come from that Machina planet, and they're all one gender. There's no males, there's no females, blah blah blah. I don't know so much. Some of the mannerisms of this character that I've seen do seem a little, I would say, feminine, but whatever. Love the design of this thing. The robot mode just looks, in my opinion, it looks like a Gunpla or a Gundam in its stylings. Unusual figure. Again, like Deep Bite, it has got some limited articulation options, like the waist doesn't articulate. The legs also are a bit restricted with a kibble on the hips. They sort of restrict movement in a few places, but apart from that, it's a really, really cool looking figure. And also it's got the extra gimmick that the card weapon folds out to the arse end of a horse, and then it plugs in the back. and then you get a robotic centaur. So yeah, that's one of the unusual features of this figure, is that it turns into a centaur, a four-legged horse beast. Interesting gimmick, pretty cool. It's a pretty decent figure overall. I do think it's a little bit small, because in the show this character is a way bigger than some of the other figures, and it transforms into a jet airliner. So that's a large vehicle to transform into. So that would be where the robotic mass goes to. The Alt mode on this thing is pretty big, to be fair, but it probably, in my opinion, could have been doing with being a little bit bigger. But it's just a normal sized sort of robot mode compared to the others, so that's neither here nor there, really, is it? It's a pretty decent figure. I quite like it. Again, it was another Carbot S figure that I was going to get, so finally got her. And yeah, so there we go. It's managed to get that. So that's another one. And then I only had another couple of packages. There was some AliExpress packages that I sent out for. Well, an AliExpress package I sent out for early in the month that I was expecting to come in. So the following day, I was waiting for this AliExpress package to come in, and I get home from work, and I open the side door, and I see this. Yes, there was a package waiting for me, but it wasn't a package from AliExpress. It was another package, and as you can see, it's a rather large package. And when I picked it up and I looked at the address label, it was a FedEx package. And I checked the tracking code on it, and it was the tracking code of that missing parcel I had from last month. So yeah, it mysteriously turned up over a full calendar month from when it went missing. Well, nearly a full calendar month from when it went missing. So yeah, what gives? I never received any notification from Federal Express to say that they'd recovered my package and were going to re-deliver it. I did send a thank you message to my local delivery driver, as I've got his contact details, and thanked him for dropping the package off, and he said no problem, he says, but he didn't give me any details as to what actually happened and how it was recovered. So yeah, my package did arrive, and I've done another unboxing video on it. I did my unboxing extras, my 4th unboxing video I did this month. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get much or any comments on that video. I was kind of hoping for a little bit of sympathy from my viewers, the plight that I had to go through, because it was a right ball ache. When the package went missing, me trying to find out what happened to it, reporting the missing package to Federal Express, obviously going around local shops, walking up and down the street, knocking on doors to find out whether it had been delivered to another house in my street. Obviously, I had grief from G-Market after I did the PayPal refund. G-Market kept marveling me to cancel the PayPal payment so they could do the refund themselves, and it was a lot of grief and hassle I had, trying to get this package or find out what happened to the package, and then go through the process of getting a refund of my money that I paid out. But anyway, the package mysteriously turned up. So what did I get? Again, like I said, I've done an unboxing video on him. Hello Carbot Ugaba X. So this is a retool, massive retool, rework of Ugaba from the original Metal Carbot. I think, was it season 2 or season 3 he turned up. He's a gorilla. He says Ugaba, Ugaba. He talks like a Pokemon. He uses his name when he talks. He's also a bit of a trickster, a jokester. He has these things on his shoulders, these pods on his shoulders, which eject little packages, which when people go to open them, they explode in their faces, and Ugaba's always laughing in the background. This guy, being an X update of the original figure, because his original alt mode was like a futuristic, like retro futuristic looking sports car. This guy turns into a Jeep, or something that's got a very strong approximation to a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. And actually there is in a local village where I go through on my way to work, there is a 3-door Jeep Rubicon in red that looks uncannily like the vehicle mode to this guy. But anyway, being an X character, this guy also has a third mode. He's a triple changer, so he's got his robot mode, and he also turns into a bird. You can get like an eagle mode out of this alt mode. It's kind of similar to Hello Carbot Hawk X, because when they did his X version, they also gave him a bird mode. This guy's a similar sort of deal, but this guy's bird mode, I think, is a little more cohesive. Looks a lot more like an actual bird when he's in his bird mode. So yeah, I finally got him. After all that grief and hassle I went through with the lost package and then the refund and all that stuff. So yeah, obviously I got the the shipping label where it says sorry we missed you, and I've sort of put the address label on the back and put notes all over it to say what happened to the package. So this is a memento. This is a souvenir of this sort of palaver that I had to go through to get this item. So that's it. So I finally got my package. Now I did get refunded from this guy by PayPal. They didn't refund me the full amount, and the money that was refunded through this actually went into my PayPal account, and it did go forward, and it was used as part of the purchase money to get Deep Bite, because it used the money from my PayPal balance to make that payment. So there is a chance that I might get asked to pay back the refund money. Maybe, I don't know. There is a slim chance that might happen. Hope not. I have technically got some cash in reserve should that happen, but anyway, I finally got him. He's all right, actually. He's not bad, and all the better for actually turning up and not being lost for all time. Like the potential was there for him to be lost forever, but I actually managed to get him. So yeah, the third Korean package that arrived this month, a carryover or a lost package from last month, finally turned up. Hello Carbot Ugaba X. I will be doing a review on this, but it'll be going up next week, so next Saturday. So there is a review coming for this guy. Just have to wait for it. Right. Okay, and that arrived on the 9th, the day after the other Korean toys. Also on the 9th, I had another AliExpress package. The AliExpress package that I had been expecting did actually arrive on the day I was expecting it. It arrived after that other package that I found when I got home. And yeah, it's an unusual one. It's a character from a offshoot of the Transformers toy line from China. Now, going back before COVID, Hasbro got into Hasbro got into talks with a Chinese production company with a view to creating a Chinese exclusive Transformers crossover show based on the legend of Nezha, which is like a little kid god who comes down to Earth, and he can fight off all sorts of demons with magical powers and stuff like that. And he's quite a famous sort of legend from the Chinese mythology. And they decided to do a crossover with Transformers and Nezha. And they started developing this show and these toy lines, and they were basically it was going to follow on from Transformers Cyberverse. They were basically going to use a lot of the molds and the characters from Cyberverse. They were going to cross over into this new Transformers Nezha show. And it was all going great guns, and then of course this was in 2019, and then in 2020 the COVID happened, and the whole thing just fell apart. All their plans to do this show just died because the COVID just came in and just ruined everything. So that show got cancelled. They did make a few toys, but they did get into the shops, but they're very rare and hard to come by. Anyway, I think they're trying to have another go at doing this. I think they're trying it again. We're like 5 years down the line from when they originally tried it and failed, and I think now the time is right for them to have another go, because some of these Nezha toys are starting to crop up on AliExpress again. And when I went to the TF Nation Minicon in Manchester, I noticed that Toyfu had on on the wall at the back of their store, they had one of the Nezha figures, but they were asking like, what was it, 50, 55, 60 quid for it, and that was way too much. But anyway, this month I looked on AliExpress and I noticed that you can pick the main character figure up for a really decent price, and I actually got mine for what was it, just under 18 quid shipped. So here he is. Now this is Transformers Nezha Power Up Pack is what it's actually called. So obviously you've got Nezha Bot, and it's got this golden ring, and it's got this golden spear. Now you'd think this is a a sentient robot, wouldn't you? But you'd be wrong, because this is actually a mech suit, because Nezha himself, if you open the chest, you can see Nezha is it actually inside. So you get a little figurine of Nezha himself, and then he sits inside the mecha, and you shut the doors, and then he becomes a robot. So yeah, there's that. Now this is quite a large figure actually. It's actually like Voyager sized. I haven't really got anything to hand to show you really. But he's quite a decent sized bot, reasonably posable. I mean, he's got, bicep swivels. He's got it's got lower thigh swivels. And it hasn't got a waist joint, but yeah, it's a pretty decent figure. It transforms into like a very ornate looking sort of saloon car, very stylish saloon car. Yeah, it's a pretty decent figure. Quite rare. I don't know whether this is one of the reissue ones or whether this is one of the original issue ones. The price I paid for it, I got it really cheap, so I think this might be a reissue. That's what makes me think that they're trying to, restart this Transformers Nezha crossover show that they were going to do. I don't know. But there's other figures that they produce, like little mini like Legion scale figures that come in a triple pack. I don't know whether they're going to go any further with this, but we'll have to wait and see. I decided to get it because I thought it was kind of interesting. It's another one of those sort of rare sort of figures that crossover figures or exclusive figures from China that come out and then they sort of disappear and they're very hard to get. And it's like that. Was it the Age of Extinction Galvatron that they did up as that red figure. I've got that as well somewhere. But anyway, so I managed to get hold of this. So that's a Transformers Nezha crossover power up pack. So it comes with this figure. It comes with a bunch of accessories, and it's got a little Nezha inside. So it's a decent little figure. It's pretty cool. Kind of rare at the moment, but I think it's going to become more common if they're going to try relaunching this toy line and the TV show in China to coincide with it. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, but it might be a reissue, it might be one of the original ones, but the price I got for it would make me think it's a reissue, but managed to get hold of that. Then it was this NEC Toy Fair. Yeah, the first NEC Toy Fair of 2025, first of three. So we got one in April, one in September, and one in December. Yeah, we still only got 3 NEC Toy Fairs this year. I mean, we used to have 4, but then they had a problem. Barry Potter, the organizer, had a problem with the NEC venue organisers, and he basically cut back from 4 events to 2, and then he recently bought the December 27th event back, and so now they're going forward with 3 events a year. The price of the early bird ticket has gone up to 12 quid. So it's getting kind of pricey to get in there for an early bird ticket, but I still prefer to do it because you get to walk around while everybody's setting up. You get a choice of all the best picks, and you can walk out while everyone else is coming in before it gets too busy. So there's always that advantage. So I took my usual amount of money, about just over 100 quid. Met my mate Richard, and we walked around. My first purchase was a loose figure I saw on a stall. It's a repaint of a mould I've already got, but it's a version of the character that I kind of like, so I decided to get it. Yep, so it's this is it Reveal the Shield Deluxe Fallback. So yeah, it's it was repaint of Dark of the Moon Brawn, but done in his Outback colours, even though they didn't actually call it Outback, they called him Fallback. But I think it's one of those cases where they lost the rights to the name, so they called him something else. Anyway, got hold of this. He's a decent figure. Transforms into like an off-road pickup truck. He's got some unusual sort of kibble. He's got his massive kibble wings on the back. He's got these kibble wings on his shoulders. He's got some unusual joints. He's got like this gun that comes over his shoulder like a Gatling gun. It's a fairly decent figure, and I got it because it's a version of Outback, or Fallback in this case. So I decided to get in because of that. So there we go. That was the first figure that I got. And then on our first lap around the hall, where we'll usually go around the outside rounds first, and then we sort of work our way up the middle until we get to the back of the stall, and then go and have a cup of tea. I think it was after we had the cup of tea, I decided to go back and look at some things I'd seen on a stall at the front of the hall, and it was a couple of G1 figures, and they were in a glass case on a stall, but the price tag was flipped over. I couldn't see how much it was, and I was halfway interested in getting them, but I decided to come back. And when I came back, the bloke from the stall had gone and his wife was there, and I said, can I have a look at those please? And I think I'd asked the bloke about it, and he said they were 80 quid. And I thought that was a bit pricey for these figures, so I left them alone. But then later on, after I'd been round through the whole hall and hadn't seen anything else worth buying, I decided to go back and make a play. And when I went back, like I said, his wife was there, and he wasn't there. And when they opened the glass case and I looked at them, the price label was flipped over and it had 85 quid on it. And then so I asked her, I said, well, your husband said that, he was going to take 80 quid for these. Is that all right? And so she rang him up on the phone, and she said, oh, that bloke's here again to pick up those Transformers figures. He's saying you said 80 quid. And anyway, she let me have them for 80 quid. And it was these guys. So it was the Decepticon, G1 Decepticon clone bots. So we've got Pounce, and we've got Wingspan. So for 80 quid, I got these two guys. Now, I have got the Titans Return, Legends class versions. So there's a Titans Return Legends Pounce. No, this isn't Pounce. This is Wingspan. That's it. Yeah. So put them next to each other, and then obviously got Pounce. Now, it's the first time I've ever had hands-on with the G1 molds. Pounce, he's all right. He transforms pretty much the same way that the Titans Return one does. His proportions are a little off. Like the beast legs are a little skinny. But he's half decent. He's all right, and he comes with these two guns where they're it's like a sword. It's got like a sword blade on it. So, and he's got two pegs. You can hold it like a sword, or you can hold it like a gun. So that's pretty cool. So he's all right. But then you get Wingspan. Now, to be honest, I'm not a fan of this this thing. His transformation is very simplistic, and he turns into a bird. But his bird mode isn't that great. Let's just transform him quickly. So like, there we go. There's his bird mode, and it's not that good, to be honest. I mean, I've seen some pictures where they sort of flip the legs over backwards like that, but that doesn't look right. He's got his arms down the side. You've got the legs coming down like that. He's got a bit of a beak. He's got the wings on the back. And I suppose if you look at that, you know, it splays out a little bit. I suppose it could be a fantail on a bird. But it's, you know, I'd expected these legs to fold up a lot better than what they actually do. So yeah, he's not very good. It made me want to get out my Titan's Return Pounce, Wingspan, sorry, and he is much better in his bird mode than his G1 counterpart. So yeah, I'm not that impressed with this guy, to be honest. He's not that great, and of course he's fiddly as all how to transform back. So yeah, not really impressed with him, to be honest. And then I didn't have much money left, so I was just wandering around the hall. I think I had just, was it 10 quid left? And I'd seen a few things that were sort of interesting, but some of them were like a little bit overpriced. And then I went round to Sven at the Geekology store, and he had some sort of like some Legacy United core class figures for sale. And I looked at one of the figures, and I looked at it. And he was asking 12 quid for it, and I said, I'm sort of halfway interested in buying this, but I can't really afford it. And he says, how much money you got? And I says 10 quid. And he says, are you paying with cash? I says, yeah. And he says, all right, I'll let you have it because you're paying with cash. So he knocked 2 quid off the price, and I was on the fence about getting this guy because I've got the original version of the mold, and this is the repaint. And I wasn't a fan of the original version of the mould. In fact, I think I gave it a worst bot nomination on that particular month that I got it. Anyway, Legacy United Core Class Energon Galvatron. So it's the Galvatron remold of that Megatron mould that they did. This is a lot better. I'm still not a fan of the mould itself, because the mould does the bare minimum it needs to transform. It does transform into the jet mode, but, you know, I just wish it kind of did more. But then again, it is a core class. It isn't going to do a lot, is it? But the mould and the fact that it's now in Galvatron colours just works so much better, because that mould was originally meant to be Galvatron's mould, but they painted it up as Megatron initially, and then they turned it into Galvatron later on in the show. So yeah, these colours just suit this mould so much better. It's a Galvatron's mould, and it looks like Galvatron. So that's the good thing about this. A lot more parts are painted. It hasn't got that sea of that grey plastic that it had. It's still got some of the grey plastic on it, but nowhere near as much as what it had before. So it's a much better looking figure for it. The fact that it's painted up in the correct mould for the correct character. So I prefer this more than the original, sort of Megatron version, which I've got, which I thought was the worst thing I got in that given month. But this is better. It's better. So I do like it a little bit more. So that was it, and that was the last figure that I got from the NEC Toy Fair. So then we've only got a couple more things to go. Nearly got an end to this haul. 2 more items to go. Then I placed an order on, well, later on in the month I placed an order on AliExpress because there's a particular Transformers 1 Studio Series character that I've been looking for, and it's Megatron. Because I never placed a pre-order on the character when it went up for pre-order, and then we all know the pre-orders sold out very quickly. And then when the figure gets released, there's none at retail. The figure is turning up online on the aftermarket, selling sites, like Facebook Marketplace and eBay for prices, usual scalper premiums. People are asking like 40, 45, 50 quid for it plus postage, and it's like, I don't really want to pay that. I'd rather pay the 25, 30 quid that the actual retail price is. But anyway, I went and looked on AliExpress, and I found a few sellers on there selling it for just over 20 quid. But then you had to add to that the shipping fee and the VAT, which you have to pay on AliExpress packages. So I found it on a couple of seller sites. I weighed up the best possible price I could get it for. So I placed an order, and with the tax and everything, it came to just over 33 quid, which I thought was acceptable. It's more than retail price, but it's a lot less. I got it, way cheaper than what I would have paid for if I'd have bought the figure, from a scalper off eBay. So on the 15th, it arrived. And again, this is another figure that I literally opened out this morning before, as research for this video. I actually got him out of the box and messed with him. So I've got a fresh opinion on what I think of him. So I finally got him. Transformers Studio Series 114 TF1 Deluxe Megatron. He's alright. He's okay. Plastic quality on it feels a bit weird. He's very solid, no looseness. Transformation where he turns into that sprawling tank mode. The chassis is not too bad. The hull's not too bad. It's the turret, because the turret is attached to this piece that goes on his back. It's on a singular peg on the back there. So I don't know. It just doesn't. It just looks weird when he's in his tank mode. And they never did a Prime Changes version of Megatron, did they? They didn't do I don't know whether it was planned to do it, but if they were doing it, it hasn't appeared yet. So all we've got is the Studio Series Deluxe. To be honest, he's all right. He's okay. He looks all right in robot mode. His alt mode is whatever, it's what it is. He does come with accessories. Obviously, he's got the hand cannon. He's got the tank barrel, and then he has the backpack with these 2 other extra guns on it. He's all right. But to be honest, if you're out there wanting to get hold of this figure, but you're reluctant to pay the piper, pay the asking prices that this guy goes for on eBay and other places, other retail sites on the aftermarket, for scalper fees, all I can say is he's not worth the hype, in my opinion. He's all right, but if you'd have paid 45, 50 quid for this, you'd be sorely disappointed. I mean, I think paying more than retail price for this is a bit of a stretch, to be honest, for what you actually get. I'm hoping, or it's hopeful, that Hasbro will reissue this figure down the line, because it sold extremely well, and obviously they've got the factories are tied up with production for other figures, so they probably can't slot it in and because it takes a long time for them to get around to doing reissues. So maybe down the line this figure will get reissued. It certainly needs reissuing because there's a lot of people out there who still haven't got it. But I will say that if you want to get one now, don't pay the scalper fees. The cheapest option that I found is AliExpress. You can get them for halfway decent price off AliExpress, and if you're going to go anywhere for them, go on there. But apart from that, he's not worth paying over the odds for, in my opinion. But there we go. Studio Series TF1, 114 Deluxe Megatron. I hoped for more. And then to round this haul off, we've got one more thing. Now, at that point, I thought I had all my stuff in, and I actually went ahead and did my gallery for my end of month bot haul. And then, what was I doing? I was watching some video on YouTube or watching something somewhere, and it reminded me of a figure that I'd overlooked previously or wanted to get, and it's from those tiny turbo changer sort of blind bag sort of things, those little tiny figures that form a character from Transformers, be it like some of the cartoon series or some of the the movies, and they're very small and basic, but they do transform. And there's a couple of characters that I like to get variants of these things for, and one of them is Age of Extinction Scorn, and there was an Age of Extinction Scorn tiny turbo changers figure that they did. So I went on eBay, and sure enough I found somebody selling it loose on its own. It's a bit expensive. It was just over 12 quid to buy, which is a lot of money for a tiny turbo changer, but I decided to get it anyway. And it arrived just the other day. Well, actually it arrived yesterday, because I'm filming this on the 27th. It arrived yesterday. So there we go. So it's Tiny Turbo Changers, Movie Edition 4, Wave 4, Age of Extinction Dinobot Scorn. So there he is. And his transformation is very simple. You sort of turn that, flip that up, pull that up, turn that round, flip those up, and there he is. There's Scorn. I like Scorn. I had to get this, so he's pretty cool. He's pretty neat. Very, very basic. Doesn't do a lot, Very super squished, stylistic version of the character, but it's Scorn, so I can't dislike it. I can't hate it. He's super, super cute in my mind, and he will go with my the rest of my Scorn characters that I've got. And that's that. That's my haul for this month, the month of April. Like I said, it was an interesting month. Did the NEC Toy Fair. I had that missing item turn up from last month. And yeah, bought a few bits and pieces. My first sort of characters from the Age of the Primes toy line. And yeah, that's that. So, first and worst. Now, I've got the first in mind. Very, very specific character for worst. But the first figure, I think I've got to give it to a certain person. Right, I'm ready. First and worst. So, first, I think I've got to give it to Age of the Primes, Megatronus the Fallen, because, like I said, I only just started playing with him earlier. I had a few issues with the transformation first time, because, I like to transform things al fresco, ad hoc, sort of we'll figure them out for myself, because that's just the way I am. But once I've done it backwards and forwards, it's not that bad. He's a very chunky figure. He's very solid. He's got good joints. He's got all these flaming fire effects. He's got some cool weaponry. He's heavy. He's pretty big. He's a really good figure, and I think he qualifies for first bot this month. And then worst bot is G1 Wingspan. I was very disappointed with this when I messed with it. The bird mode doesn't look much like a bird. It just looks like a robot laying down with a beak and a pair of wings splayed out on his back. You know, it's not that impressed with it. The Titan's Return version just does so much better. So much better. So yeah, I decided to make him my worst bot of the month. So there we go. That's my haul done for another month. Moving into May, obviously got some Korean figures to throw down on, because obviously the final figure releases from the Metal Carbot S have finally dropped. You know, the final 4 characters, you know, like Blast Train, Spark Bit, Flash Vector and Nova, Flame Nova have finally been released. So I've got to make a play on some of those. And yeah, so there's that to do, and also it's the TF UK Con next month as well. So I'll take some money to that and hopefully buy a few things. So I've got that to look forward to. So with that said, I've been TFR Wilderness. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you all next time. Ta-da.